go over a quick yoga practice you can do. Super simple, super easy, and it's going to hit a lot of your lower body. It's going to hit the hamstrings. It's going to hit the lateral rotators of the hip. It's going to get the adductors. And this way, you can just take a simple few minutes and just really work through some of these great poses that will help with low back pain. It'll help with stiffness and not being able to move fluid through the day. If you do this every day, it will really change how you interact with your body and your low back health, for sure. So we're gonna get to that right now. So let's sit up nice and tall. So slow the breathing down and start breathing deeply. Close the eyes. So one of the best things that I ever learned from one of my teachers, Judith Lassiter, the homework was, the first day was to go home and think of somebody you're having an argument with and argue from their side. This really changed and impacted my life because I went home and there was a problem with somebody who had signed up for teacher training, and I went home and I saw from their side because I argued from their side. And then at that point it just totally changed the way in which conflicts arose and how I dealt with them, because I always wanted to see it from the other person's side. So I think 2 years ago, the Karate Kid came out, the second piece. Like there's like a YouTube of like what happens with Daniel and Johnny now. And what are they doing now? And Daniel's like this kind of car salesman, but he's successful. And Johnny's kind of like down on his luck and whatever, and it's very interesting. The reason why I'm telling the story is because I'm wearing a shirt, on my t-shirt, and it's the Cobra Kai t-shirt. And it's a sweep the leg. So anyway, but you know, whenever I wear it, I remember this modern day telling of the story of the Karate Kid. And if you're from a generation where you haven't seen the Karate Kid, check it out. It's a classic. So anyway, so in this YouTube video, they end up going to a bar at a certain point. And Johnny's like, man, you were such a jerk to me when we were kids. And Daniel's like, what are you talking about? I was a jerk to you? You were a jerk to me. So, right from here, just extend the left leg out, curl the right leg in, and then just fold forward. So you get some stretching while I jabber away. So, Johnny sees it from his side. And then they show it from Johnny's side, and it's true. He came down, his ex-girlfriend, who he just broke up with, was flirting with this other guy, Daniel. He got a little upset. Daniel actually picked a fight with him, and then when you see, he goes through the entire movie, but from his perspective and how it affected him. It was like life-changing. The Karate Kid changed my life. Inhale, come up, and switch the leg. But in yoga, there is a understanding that there's this thing called Maya, which is illusion, which is material energy, and we are material. I'm a material girl in the material world. Fold forward. That's a song from Madonna. Big breath in, big breath out. Just make that connection. to going a little deeper. Each exhale, try and push into that space a little bit so you can feel where your body says, nope, no more, and then you wait for a response. Inhale, come up. Soles of the feet together. Hold the feet and lean forward for your Baddha Konasana. We're just connecting to our lower part of our body right now, just doing a little gentle warm-up before we start to move around a little bit more vigorously. Walk the hands out. And there's no magic in these poses. The magic is in the practice of coming to them over and over again, breathing with them, and connecting to the body and the mind. That's the magic. But the magic isn't the shape itself. Exhale, come out a little deeper, come out a little more. Now, when I start to get to a certain place in Baddha Konasana, I actually kind of tuck my tailbone a little bit, and I actively use my mind to pull down my knees. And it gives a different sensation in the pose, it gives a different feel. And just do a slight push forward of the lower belly towards the heels. Use the hands on the floor to accentuate that so you can feel the connection more. Inhale, come up, and send the legs straight out. And fold over. Big breath in. So I'm representing the Cobra Kai, which is the bad guy school. And then it says Reseda, California, which is funny because that's where it all took place. But what if the person that you were in conflict with, you actually went and you sat down with them and you genuinely said, hey, can you explain this to me from your side? Like without the pushback, without the fight, without the resistance that you give, but actually just hear it as a friend would hear it. Hey, tell me about this. And let me see this. You might just start to see it from their side. Or see that there's elements where, yes, I could see where you would think that. And then you get away from demonizing people. They're horrible, whatever. Caroline Myss wrote a great book called Anatomy of the Spirit, and in it she said, on this very subject, she would say, you come to a burning house, and if there are 4 reporters on each corner of the street, different corner of the street, they're going to have, one's going to say that it's a blazing inferno, and the other's going to say there was a small fire at so-and-so, because you're not seeing the whole picture. And what if that was how we argue? We don't see the whole picture. We see our side. One more. Bring the legs in. Now here, you can just lean forward to connect to the hips, or if you're feeling flexible, you come here, and then I lift up, and I go forward. So now I'm in like a double pigeon. It's like sometimes on Joe Rogan, you can listen to his podcast, and on that podcast, he'll have one person on one week arguing for a vegan diet, and then he has somebody on the next week who's arguing for a paleo or a keto diet, and they're equally convincing. And then he'll have them both on. And then they agree with probably 90% of what they're saying, and then there's just little nuanced points that they're arguing. Inhale, lift up, and then switch the leg. And then you get to some semblance of an objective truth. Come forward and connect to the hip. So we really, this whole sequence right now that we're doing is opening up the hamstrings, the adductors. Then we're working the lateral rotators of the hip right now. So we're opening up the whole lower line of the body. Let the hands come out. Inhale, lift up.